Okay, first up, main course today. I know this is a very interesting topic for Lions fans because it's something that we've been dealing with for decades, and we're kind of sick and tired of it. And it happens every single year. And, you know, we just can't get away off the season without something blowing up with NFL officiating. And unfortunately, this year it happened at the end of the year when things blew up over the weekend when the NFL officiating crew released the fines for the NFL Week 18 game with the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers after an interesting altercation happened on the field where DeAndre Swift, in the middle of getting tackled, gets forearm smashed into the helmet. He's down on the ground injured. We got medical staff arriving on the field. In the middle of the medical staff trying to address the situation, one trainer is trying to get to the injury, and linebacker Quay Walker from the Green Bay Packers decides to interfere, and not only interfere and impede the guy's progress, he decides to also shove him in the back into other trainers in the process of the play. Now, we had also Wyatt, who also decided to chest bump that same trainer at the same time. Now, after the play, Quay Walker gets an unsportsmanlike conduct, gets ejected with the flag. And, you know, he had a couple of emotional other incidences in this game as well, where he interfered with the whole, as before the snap, messing with the ball earlier in the game. Now, the NFL took a look at this situation and decided to fine Jamaal Williams, our Swaggy, for his excessive sexiness celebration with his Swift Hibble, along with Quay Walker for his unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, the problem was in a situation where both men received an unsportsmanlike conduct, their second of the year. Okay? But how come Quay Walker gets a first offense fine? You see, the NFL earlier, before this season started, got together with the CBA and decided to address certain scenarios in the officiating and set specific fines to address them to make this fair and to address player safety. Now, for a first offense fine for an unsportsmanlike conduct, it's $13,000, which Quay Walker was, and some change, was charged for a second offense. And a second offense is $18,000, which Jamaal Williams got for a sexy touchdown dance. He's done his entire career with no penalty till this year. And then he gets the full charge of the second offense, a dance that's done by NFL cheerleaders on the field. Now, granted, Jamaal Williams's dances penalty is, we don't care. I mean, it's all right. It's okay. It's a drop in the bucket for him and all of that. But when you add in the fact that Quay Walker impeded medical training and has done this before, attacked staff previous in the season, got ejected twice in 1 year, and is the first NFL player to do so without a suspension, something ain't right. And the officiating has been terrible. It knocked the Lions out of the playoff contention with the Seattle Rams game. There was issues all weekend long in the playoff things. What is going on, NFL? What do you think about this, Coach Mike?
You know what? Both Jamaal Williams penalties happened on the road, coincidentally. For the same dance that he's been doing his whole career. I think it's bullshit. But man, I mean, I don't want to say the NFL is rigged, but the NFL is rigged in the sense that certain teams are supposed to make it to certain games. And that's just the way it is because at the end of the day, ratings sell. Ratings gets network money, networks pay the NFL. That's just how the game goes. And anybody who thinks that it's not like that is an idiot. Um, and the NFL tries to do what they can to make certain teams match up and play. I mean, that's just sports, man. That's all sports. Every sport that has billions of dollars in it is ran like that. And if you think it's not, and you think it's innocent and pure, then you're an idiot as well. But yeah, I mean, there's too much money in sports. So I mean, calls just get called, and teams who people want to see get the calls because those are the games that the NFL wants to showcase. But in all fairness, if the Lions want to be one of those teams that people want to see, we got to start winning more often. And the more often we win, the more hype around us, the calls start to change, and we'll start to see some of those calls. So we kind of hold that in our own hands to start getting those calls when we start winning more and people start wanting to see us on mainstream TV.
Right. And I get it. And some of these penalties, or whatever it is. I mean, the NFL has made it, well, sometimes you get an apology after the fact where it's all, we didn't see the call, or this was some obscure thing that we never had to really call before, and it's in the book, and blah, blah, blah. But see, the thing is, and some fans are looking at this also in light of DeVar Hamlin. Now you can take some of these penalties as no big deal, and some of them are ridiculous. A lot of these penalties are really vague and stupid. You should really a touchdown celebration. Come on now. Is it that serious? And they have it in, they're right. And a lot of fans are confused because, well, he only had 2 little swivels instead of 3. But the rules state that if it's sexually provocative in any way, they can call it.
Right.
But the thing is you got the Detroit Lions cheerleaders doing the same thing. Wait a minute. Why is there a difference? So, but the thing is, those concussion protocols are serious, and having a medical trainers not being able to access players promptly is a huge, big health concern deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just player safety. And what's interesting is there is no recourse for medical trainer safety. The officials can have recourse against getting hit or getting grabbed or getting everything, but medical trainers do not have those protections in place. So the NFL, with this penalty, is setting a precedent because Quay Walker has done this before. This year, attacked another training staff on the sidelines in the Buffalo Bills game. So you gave him a slap on the wrist by not enforcing the second offense fine. So you're setting the precedence to other players to say, hey, we can get away with this too.
Right. I think he should be suspended for a game or 2 at the start of next year. I would say a 2-game suspension just to like you said, set the precedent and just make it so the people know, the example has to be set when things happen, so it is what it is, man. I think a 2-game suspension is that's what it needs to be. But if the NFL decides to do anything else, then then it's favoritism.
it's already favoritism in the fact that you made it a point to set specific dollar amounts, because before it was, well, you know, this guy did this, so it's $6,000 here, but this guy did this and it's $10,000 here and whatever. You set the precedent at the beginning of the year that said, these are the fines and these are the bare minimums for these offenses. If
Right.
there are extenuating circumstances, we can charge more. So why are you giving a second offense, which has violent implications to it, a first offense fine? How make that make sense to me, people? Make that make sense to me. Now, you know, if it was a stupid penalty, whatever, we could just ignore it and move on with our day. But these kind of, if you really are serious about player safety in light of Hamlin and all of those things that have happened, then you need to address the fact that, number one, medical staff has recourse for protection to be safe on the field while addressing player safety. And you need to make the whole situation right with how these penalties are charged and fined standard across the board.